Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Welcome to all the guests. Welcome to all the new guys. First of all, Mazel Tov to all the Messiahim, Meseches, Bava Kama, a long one, a difficult one. Today we are starting a much easier one, a more familiar one, Bava Metzia. I would like to welcome all the new guys that were mishtatif, that are coming for the very first time to MDY. We didn't quite reach our goal of 1,000, but we got to about 700 new people, which is unbelievable. And last night, by the Hebrew share, we had over 1,000 new participants for the Hebrew share. So for the Hebrew, we reached the goal. You guys let me down a little bit on the English, but that's okay. We'll take 700. And as we usually do, at the beginning of the Masechta, all the guys that are here and familiar, you can go to sleep for about 10 minutes, come back. We have Rabbi Isai Robert Links with us. It's a big. And we have a chashuv guest from Boston. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name?
Hanan Wiener.
Hanan Wiener. I don't know if you guys remember, but the Olam in Boston sent me a beautiful set of MDY knives. This goes back 2-3 years. He's one of the guys. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? You look very familiar. Switzerland. So you're familiar with the Stefanskys. Rabbi Isai, doing a little chazara, it doesn't hurt to go through some of the pros and the cons of Daf Yomi, because it's good to familiarize yourself with it, because people, when you try to get somebody to join the Daf, they will throw some of these things to you. And when you're familiar with them, you know, Dam ala Hashiv. Know what to answer the koifer. So a lot of people tell you the Daf Yomi is not for me because it's too fast. I can't recall anything. I don't retain anything. These are all good tainas. Every single one is a good taina. A big one that I encounter, especially from people that went to yeshiva and went through the yeshiva system, they say, my Rosh Yeshiva said the only way to learn is be'iyon. You have to learn deep. This is too pashtas, you don't know what's flying, you're not really learning, it's not considered learning. That's a big one. And the answer to that is, they might be right, but for the most part, we are balabatim, we are learning. And don't be that guy, and I heard this a number of times. People looked at me with all seriousness and they said this line, they said, I only learn be'iyon. It happens to be that I haven't learned in 20 years, but when I learn, it's only be'iyon. And that's what we're coming to combat. We're saying, no, there's other ways to learn, and this is the most convenient, most consistent way to learn that I know of, and that is the Daf Yomi. Another big problem with Daf Yomi is that many people have started and fell off the bandwagon. It's a very common thing. You get all excited. You start Masechtas Brachas. Today you start Masechtas Bava Metzia. It's a tough day to start on a Friday. Really, it's probably the toughest day of the week to start, because you come into Shabbos, you come into Sunday. And for that, we have a trick. You got to do this trick. And over the years, I've had many fights in emails and in person with people that they're smarter than this trick. Almost every single one of them came back to say, hey, you were right. So I'm telling you, I'm warning you now, Don't fight it. Just, this is for the turning of the daf, the new turning of the daf. When I read it for the first time, I cried. I hope I don't cry when I read it now. But you have to wait for the turning of the daf for that. The trick is very, very simple. And it worked for so many people. And that's why we have a very, very high retention rate. The trick is that when you fall off, because you will fall off, it's inevitable. That's how life is. There's the life cycles, there's weddings, there's all sorts of, there's brisim, and there's leilenu, other things. And people fall off. But the trick is not to try to make it up, because when you try to make it up, that's when you fall behind even more. You keep on getting to a bigger and bigger hole. The trick is you do the daf with everybody. Wherever you find out, okay, we're holding, I'm in Bava Kama daf kuf test now. Forget it. I'm going now to Bava Metzia because that's where everybody is. Start Bava Metzia, and eventually you make it up. Robert links, you might have a couple blot that you need to make up from here to there, but it's Beseder. Right now we're starting Bava Metzia. Robert is the one that designed this base measure, this beautiful base measure. He designed it. He's with us all the way from the beginning. I just haven't seen him in a year, and I'm very excited to see him. What? You're still with the Yomi. Beautiful. Chulin? Oh, you started from Chulin.
We joined together.
You know what? I'll say a quick story since you're here. We were in a house of one of our chaverim. He did a Chanukah Sabayis, and we're sitting there in front of 4 people. Mm-hmm. And me and Noam were schmoozing. And it was like a Chanukah Sabayis. The whole entire time, I'm hacking them about the daf. You got to join the daf. What are you doing? This, that. How much do you learn? How much don't you learn? Getting into the business and hearing all these excuses. We come out of this Chanukah Sabayis, and Noam tells me, Eli, what a waste of time. Why do you waste your time with these guys? And you know what? All 4 of these people are part of the daf today, and a very big part of the daf. Right? Mazel. And he says, Yomi, since Chulin, since that day, he's been with us, Robert Eli. Robert is one of those people. So, you keep on making up. Yosef Biliak? You were there too. Oh, you were one of the 4 people. No, so not Stam. The editor, the guy that puts it all together. So anyways, okay, I take credit for bringing you. Great. Anyway, you're going to hear a lot of people tell you they have a chavrusa, they have this, I don't have time. These are all excuses of why they don't do the daf. But let's talk about the milas. My favorite saying, I hope I coined it. If not, please forgive me. But it's not about the daf, it's about the yomi. We have it in English also. It's not about the daf, it's about the yomi. Meaning, and it's a nice phrase, but what does it mean? It means daf yomi is not about doing a daf. It's about learning every single day and learning consistently. And we learn every single day, literally. Never will you find that we do 2 shiurim because tomorrow is not a good day to do a shiur. Every single day, most uncomfortable day, so to speak, on Motzei Kippur when nobody wants to learn, you're tired, you have a headache, on Purim when you're drunk, on Tisha B'Av, Ben Azmanim, Chol Hamoed, Erev Pesach, every single day of the year, 365. That consistency, as hard as it is, that brings a tremendous power to your day, to your life, and it goes into all other areas of your life. All of a sudden you find yourself doing Shnai Mikra, you start working out, you start being a better person, the whole thing. Now, talking about that, the daf, don't ask me how, but in particular this shiur makes you a better person. How do I know? Because I hear it from literally hundreds and hundreds of people. I said the other day, I'll say it again, a guy flew in specifically, he was here in the shiur, I should have brought him to the front, he was here yesterday, Eli Ashir. He flew in for less than 24 hours to tell me these words. He said, this is for the siyum. And to say these words, that's what he told me. I flew in to tell you, you changed my life. I know you heard it 1,000 times. I just want to tell you again, you changed my life. And then he brought that raya that he is a shy person by nature, but because he wanted to bring more people to the daf, he banged on the bima after davening on Shabbos in front of hundreds of people and screamed out, the daf is starting a new Masechta Bava Metzia. Come join. Ask me if you have any questions. So, that consistency, the daf brings consistency in many other areas in life. And now just for a few cartoons, Iyun is the right way to learn. That's when he's young, he's on Daf Beis. And then many, many years later, 50 years later, Baruch Hashem, he's done Daf Gimel and Shalom Yisrael. And this is not good. I'll tell you why this is not good. Because in Olam HaEmes, you get to learn what you learn in this world. And if all you learned is 1 or 2 daf, that's what you get to learn there. It's going to be kind of boring to go through the same daf over and over and over. It's kedai. Let me see what kind of socks. Oh, same socks. He never changes socks, this guy. The other thing is, it goes in one ear, it goes out the other ear. But you should know that, and I'm going to fair you guys to see, even today, it's the subway, New York subway. I don't remember anything. Maybe I should read a magazine instead. But that's the big thing. What are you doing instead? That's the big question. Okay. What else do we have here? And this is just the saying. Oh, it's in Hebrew today. But basically, learn now. How does it go? Skip now, learn later. No. What is it? Keep up now, catch up later. Keep up now, catch up later. All right, Rabbi Isai. Just want to show you real quickly one picture of the North Jersey and Monsey Siyum that happened last night. We'll show you more pictures as they come along. We had a beautiful Siyum for the Hebrew-speaking people in my house last night. How many people showed up, Benny? 80 people. It was a beautiful turnout. Mamish beautiful. And Be'ez Hashem, they all stick together. I want to show you, this is something that we do on a typical day, on a first day of a Masechta. We typically don't do it, but because this is a little different. Yesterday, a big tzaddik was killed. His name was Yitzchak Zeiger. He was 57 years old. And why am I telling you this? First of all, look at this video. This guy was on his way into battle, and what is he doing? He's learning Torah. But what was interesting, that when he got killed yesterday, he was carrying Gemaras, the art scroll Gemaras for Chayalim. He was on the way to deliver Gemaras. We give out free Gemaras. That's why it touched me. He was on the way to give out those free Gemaras that the Schattensteins printed for the Chayalim. That's what they found the box with him. That he's a huge Baal Chesed. He's part of Mada, Zaka, Yichrat Chaverim. There's pictures with him, the Zaka things. He was in the fire department. Chesed all day. His neshama should have an aliyah. Hashem yinkum damai. And that's another thing. A lot of people want to accept upon themselves extra learning. Now is a great opportunity to learn extra for the Chayalim, for the hostages, for the Matzav in Eretz Yisrael. And the Paras HaChodesh, Mazel Tov to Ahron, who is my son, Reb Eli, who is myself, and the entire mishpacha on the birth of Ahron's daughter, Sophia Ruth. Paras HaChodesh, Linishmas, which is, by the way, it's every time you have a grandchild and a kid, it's a big simcha. But for those of you who are new, for us, it's a very, very special simcha. We had a lot of history with Ahron. And for him to have a kid, tremendous simcha. The Paras HaChodesh, Linishmas zechurya ben Moshe, Linishmas zechurya bas Yosef. Okay, I don't need a tissue. It's Fraser. Paras HaChodesh, Ahron Fraiman, it should be a zechus. Give me a tissue, please. No, I'm just kidding. I got it. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Fraser, please don't show that to Ahron. Thank you. Ahron Fraiman should be a zechus for Ner Tamid of Baltimore. In teaching Torah to Klal Yisroel, you never know what triggers it. I've said this 20 times already, maybe more. Robert Fraser, in loving memory of Hertzel Pinchasi, Ner Tamid Daf'ers Baltimore, Maryland. Paras Hayoim, Yonah Weiss, in honor of our son Elimelech's bar mitzvah, Ulinishmas Rebbe Elimelech from Lezensk. Zechus Yogan Aleinu. Paras HaChodesh for the month. Melech. Anonymous for the zechus, for an easy childbirth, his daughter and healthy baby, Rabbi Isai. Don't think it's too late. Even though it's the first day of Bava Metzia, you could still bring a friend. You could still tell somebody about it. It's never too late, but especially today, which is the first day of Bava Metzia. Mordechai, where's your brother? He is? Okay, Givaldic. Join dafyomi.com. Boys, here we go. I want to show you a quick video that Yossi Klein put together. The island didn't really see it yet because it just came out late last night. You have it? All right, here we go. It's super ADD. That's why I love it. It's Givaldic. Go. Rabbi Sai, you're not going to believe this. Bava Metzia is starting in just a few days. You all remember when you were kids in school, the very, very first Gemara you learned was Bava Metzia. You know why? Because it's fun. It's Gishmak. So join us. Bava Metzia is coming up in just a few days. Givaldic. Okay. Shkoich Yossi Klein. You're not going to believe this. No, it's okay. It's say there. We believe you. Shnai Moichs Vitalis. Rabbi said, let's jump into this. If you think about it, like they said in London, like Dov Harris said so beautifully, it's only 80 hours. That's how long it'll take you to finish a Masechta, 80 hours of your time. It's approximately 4 months. Be'ez Hashem will make a big siyum and have a lot of fun on the way. Shnai Moichs Vitalis. You have two people holding onto a garment. Doesn't necessarily mean the towels that we wear every morning. It means a garment you found in the street. There's an argument. Each one says, I found it. So, typically speaking, in Shas, when one person is holding onto the garment, not two, so we have the concept called Hamoitzi Mechaver El Varaya. I know it's a very famous concept, but maybe the Rosh Tevis is not as familiar. And it's kedai to know it for this daf. Hey mem ayin hey. Hamoitzi Mechaver El Varaya. It's the burden of the other person to bring the proof. One person is holding on to it, so it's his. But since two people are holding on to the same chayfetz, so there's an argument here. One says it's entirely mine, the other one says it's entirely mine. Rabbi say, are we talking about two different cases here, or it's one case? They're both saying, I found it, and they're both saying, it's completely mine. It seems like it's one case. In fact, the Gemara is going to say it's two different cases. It's telling us two different things. Each one makes a shvuah, swears that he doesn't have less than a half of it. And each one swears the same thing. And they divide it evenly. So, typically speaking, one Masechta must follow the other Masechta. There has to be some sort of connection between a Masechta, especially if Bava Kama, Bava Metzia, and Bava Basra are one Masechta. We learned, Shaila, is it one Masechta? But what's the connection? So Taisa says the connection is because we just finished saying that if a person has a small axe and he's chopping wood for somebody, he has to give the pieces. You can keep the pieces. If it's a larger axe, you can't keep the pieces. It's a question of division. So we're continuing the division. The Rambam says, because in the Torah, the halachas of Gzela, which we're talking about in Bava Kama, are right before the halachas of Shomrim, which we're talking about in Bava Metzia. I just want to show you quickly. This was running around. I got this from a number of people. So this has to do with us a lot because it's actually our Gemara. It's a MDY Gemara, and it says, two people fighting over the last free Gemara. Each one says it's his. Okay. And now Rabbi Sai, for a small, quick 3D animation of what just happened here. That's an MDY sweatshirt. Does anybody have one of those on? Not really. Not today. Oh, you do? Yeah, give it to me. Beautiful. But you missed the thing. You all are looking at me. Unfortunately, you're going to have to watch this again. How do I know you were looking? Nobody laughed. This guy says kulishli, okay, and then they're fighting in front of Bezdin, and boom, oh. So, anyways, fighting over this. Shmak, thank you. No. Zari mekulishli, v'zari mechetzishli. Okay, it's a little out of control. Zari mekulishli, v'zari mechetzishli. Similar but different. So we have it over here. Two people are fighting over a sweatshirt. This guy says the entire thing is mine, and the other one says half of it is mine. So in other words, the one that says half of it is mine admits that the other half is the other guy's. It's not his. So the whole argument is on the white part, on half. That's the whole argument. And therefore, the halacha is very different. He's going to take 3/4. Why? Because he's arguing over a half. The whole argument is on a half, so they're going to divide that half. So it turns out that he gets 3/4, and therefore he should swear and make a shvuah that he doesn't have less than 3 parts. And he should make a shvuah that he's not getting, that he doesn't own less than 1/4. This guy takes 3/4 and this guy takes 1/4. Great. Question. Shalom Aleichem. Come in. Mazel Tov. The chassan is there. Beautiful. Okay. You say chassan al kavan. Gewaldig. Okay, shkoyach. So, the question is, let me ask you a question. If the whole argument is not on the red, it's only on the white, so why does the guy that says the whole entire thing is mine, why does he have to make a shvuah on 3/4? There is no argument on 3/4. The argument is only on half, on 1/4. So let him swear that at least 1/4 is mine. The other guy will say at least 1/4 is mine, and that's it. Why does he have to swear on the red part also, which the other guy admits that is his? It's a good question, no? So the answer is, one of the answers, that we're concerned that if he doesn't swear on the 3/4, he might just go over to a random person and start grabbing things that are not his. He'll add to what is really his. So there's also something called the Gilgul Shvuah. So we make him make a Shvuah on everything. Another problem is, that Taisus brings up here, is why is it that the person that says half is his, he should be believed? Because he's being very honest. He could also say the whole thing is mine. The fact that he's being honest and he's saying half is his, he should be believed. That's called a migui. As a migui. So let's believe him that he's saying the truth, that half is his. Says Taisus, because he's trying to take away from the other person. And you do not use a migui to take away from another person. It's migulaiti. Excuse me. Migulaiti le'amrina. What? Yeah, but that's something else. There's no tain over it. That's if I say you owe me money. This is not a moed mitzvah. Says the Gemara. Now it's the same idea, same exact case, basically, just in a different format. 2 people are riding on top of an animal. Oh, I have a picture how it looks exactly. It's kind of interesting. Here, 2 individuals riding a horse. Ashi. It's the same idea. 2 people are on top of the animal, or 1 person on top, 1 person is leading. The Mishnah is telling us a chiddush that the guy that leads and the guy that rides, it's the same thing. You're still controlling this animal. Same thing as we had in the Reisha. Each one is arguing, each one says the animal is completely mine. Each one swears he doesn't have less than a half. When they divide the animal or divide the monetary value of the animal. If they admit that each one owns a half, each one is half. It seems like there's no great chiddush. We'll see everything in the Gemara. Says the Gemara, Lomeli lemisna, Zermanim tzasiyah, Zermanim tzasiyah, Zermakulashli, Zermakulashli. That's the chada. Here we go. You want to see it inside? This is, the Gemara even brings the words. But it seems like the same case. Now, just to explain, if you're new to Shas, new to Gemara, or you forgot, it's kedai to do Chazara. The Gemara is written in a very, very special format. It's written in a format of a Rebbe to a Talmud, a back and forth, a question and answer. Sometimes the questions are not the strongest questions in the world, but they're there for the format and to bring a point out. If this was a Shulchan Aruch, the Shulchan Aruch would bring this case and say, there's two cases here, it's like this, or whatever it is. The Gemara is trying to show how from the Mishnah we understand that we're talking about two separate cases. It cannot be one case, and goes through all the steps. I'll prove it to you that it cannot be one case. Although it seems like it's one case. If we were just to learn it in Cheder, the same guy that says I found it says the whole thing is mine, one case, let's go home. But that's not what's going on here. It's two separate cases, and each case has a chiddush to it. Says the Gemara, why do I need to say this whole lengthy discussion? This one says I found it, I think the whole thing is mine. Just say either each one says I found it, or each one says the whole thing is mine. Says the Gemara, you're right. In fact, it's one case. Now we're in the Havamina, we think it's one case. The what? It's really he's saying one sentence. I found it, the entire thing is mine. The big problem is that doesn't say that. It says Ze Oimer, Ze Oimer. It says Ze Oimer 4 times. It's not like you're saying, as simple as you're saying, it's one sentence. It's mine, I found it, and it's completely mine. Says Gemara, okay. So just say that part, I found it. And I'll know from that the entire thing is mine. There's a story at Weiss, the guy was on a train in Belgium, and he was kind of bored, and he got on his knees, he looked over the chair, and he couldn't believe it. He saw a gold ring with a diamond. So he reaches down, he can't get to it. So he looks at his friend, the basketball player, 6'4". You remember he has these long, lengthy, skinny, long arms. He says, do me a favor. Get me my ring I just found. So the guy goes, gets the ring. And then he's about to give it to him. He starts thinking to himself, wait a minute. Why should I give it to you? I'm not your shliach. I didn't do it because you asked me. I found it like... So the guy says, no. I saw it. I found it. What do you mean? So who's the halacha like? What's the halacha like, Rabbi Yosef? Who gets to keep the ring? The basketball player. It's Pashat. Pashat. But he didn't know about it. The other guy saw it first. Who? The first guy. Could. You can take a stick, you could this, that, he'll get. You just ask. So it says the Gemara. And then you, of course, once you say the story, you can mention A.B. Rottenberg's story, Journeys, that this guy, it's a beautiful story, you got to say it. This couple got married, and on the night of the chasana, the Kala lost her ring. She became the joke of the family. People made fun of her. They called her different names. And they were walking. A few months later, they were walking, and the husband put his hand in his coat over there, and he found the ring. And so, of course, they told the family, and they were all excited. And everybody made fun of him. They started making fun of this guy. And he was the joke for years. Until many, many years later, the wife, she found the original ring hidden somewhere, and she realized that her husband, in order to take away the busha from his wife, he just made a copy, and he took that busha and he took those names for all those years. Okay? Says Gemara, you're asking me, you should just say the first part, the red. Anim tzasiya. You shouldn't say the green, kulashali. But just say the red. People like to say, especially kids, I found it. What do you mean you found it? How did you find it? You saw it. That's different. With looking at something alone, you're not kaina. You have to acquire, you have to lift it up. I would think that even if it doesn't reach my hand, I just see it. I should be kaina just by seeing it. So therefore, the Mishnah continues and says the green, kula shali, The Beria Laikani, to teach us that by looking at it alone, you're not koina. So I want to tell you something. I heard this from my good Chaver Mendy, who's sitting right over here, this individual right over here. He told me a good vart. He said, there's Bava Kama, which means the first Bava. There's Bava Metzia, the middle Bava. Bava Vasher, the last Bava. He says, no, you can also look at it as Bava Metzia, from the Lashon of Metzia. It's a Geshmak Mesachta, it's a Metzia. In the middle of all the Babas, it's fun, it's Geshmak, it's easy, we're familiar with it. All our Rabbeim. Lauren Spiegelman sent me a whole email of 30 Rabbeim that he learned by, and he learned all these, and thank you to this Rebbe, and this Rebbe, and this Rebbe, and this Rebbe. Every time, every word I'm going to learn about Metzia, and I'm going to remember you, Givaldi. So he says, but it's not good enough to be Kainet Beria. Oh, you just take the Gemara, I got the free Gemara, put it on my shelf, I was Kainet. You have to acquire it. And what does that mean? It means that sometimes you come home at 1:30 in the morning, you get into your PJs, you snuggle into bed, it's all geschmack, you're about to fall asleep, and all of a sudden, that knock on your head. Hello? Hi? You forgot to do the daf. Oi! Tomorrow. I'm already in bed. Tomorrow. When you get out of the bed and you do it on 3.5 speed, whatever it is, but you did it. That's to acquire it. That's to say, okay, now I have a chelik in this Bava Metzia. I didn't just see it. I did something to be koinet. And I have to tell you this, Bamis, now it's also the first day, and I don't like to go into these things on the first day. But being that Mendy told me this vart, and 7.5 years ago, I sat with Mendy in the Beis Medrash Tnei Shmuel. We shared the same chavruta 7.5 years ago. And he said, Eli, I want to do what you do. I don't want to be a diamond dealer anymore. I want to spend more time learning Torah. Mazel Tov, I forgot the name of the sugya. What was the name of the sugya? What is it called? When they put the trees away, you don't even remember yourself. We'll get there in the ayin somewhere. And I said, yeah, sure. Yeah, you just continue with your diamond. And Lamaisa, he sold his business. He bought some real estate. But here's an example right in front of us. A person who spends an entire morning learning Torah. Hello, I should take the b'zionis every day. You guys share some of this busha also, this guy of a busha too. All right, so anyways, he sits with Bachram and he learns over here in the morning, and you can make a change if you want to. It wasn't the worst time in the world to get into real estate in Bet Shemesh 7.5 years ago. You did okay. Says Gemara. Umi motzes amres, my motzesiri yisia. Could you say that when I found it means I saw it? V'omer avnoi umotzasa da soy liyadi mashma. The word of mutzasa to find means that you acquired it in your hands. So let me ask you a question, and if you really, really know the answer, don't even answer. When was the last time you saw this Gemara? Umotzasa da soy liyadi mashma. The word umotzasa means that it came into your hand. Not you. Okay, so don't be embarrassed. We had this less than a week ago, word for word in the Gemara. Word for word. And like I said, sometimes it goes in one ear, goes out the other ear. Literally, word for word. This sug, you look on the side, Bava Kama Kuf Yud Gimel, at the end of the Masechta. So, what's going on over there is that the Gemara is talking about if you found an item that's owned by an idol worshiper, a non-Jew, you're not mechuyev to give it back. So the Gemara says, but maybe it means only if you look at it and you can pass by, you don't have to pick it up and deal with it. But what if you took it into your possession? Do you have to give it back then? The Gemara says, no. Because umutzasa means that you acquired it, you took it into your possession, and still, it's a chicha only to a Jew. So Akopani, you see the word umutzasa means that you picked it up. You're not just looking at it. Says Gemara, you're right. Umatzasa de kradas liyadi mashma. Rav Eli is right. When the Torah says umatzasa, it actually means when you acquired it, you took it. Umiutana, but our Mishnah is a Tana. Listen to Amanokat. He's talking like human beings, like regular. What's the vernacular? How do people say? When people say umatzasa, you found it. I found it. I found the house. What does it mean? I found the house. You picked it up. You saw it. You heard about it. So umatzasa can mean you saw something, and therefore we're coming to tell you chiddush. You don't acquire just by looking at it. So when he sees it, he says, I found it. Even though it didn't come to his hands. Just by seeing it, you would think that you're kind of Tani kulishli. That's why the Mishnah continues with the green words kulishli to tell us that the biri ba'alma loikani, just looking at it, does not acquire it. And so just say kulishli, just say the green. Itana kulishli have amino ba'alma diktani mitzasiya biri ba'alma kani. Typically speaking, in the rest of the Torah, the rest of the Gemara, it talks about mitzia a lot. So think, okay, over there you could acquire it by seeing it. Only by us in our Mishnah not. So it says both, the red and the green. From the extra wording here, teaches us for the rest of the Shas, you cannot acquire something just by looking at it. Ask the Gemara. So finally we said the whole sugya. It's talking about one case. But how can you say that it's one case? Look at all those zez. So it can't be one case. You're right. Some say it's Rishima. And some people say it's the person named Kedi. Rashi sometimes says Kedi means just anonymous. There's two cases here. Finding an item, and purchasing an item. Sometimes two people purchase the same item. I'll tell you a story. I know we're late, so I'll say it really quick. You heard the story, but if not, if you knew, when I was a bacher, one of my friends said, there's a guy from the yeshiva in Berlin getting married, and he lives in Belgium. We have to do a mitzvah. We have to go to his wedding. Nobody's going to his wedding, so I can't afford it. He said, I'll tell you how we afford it. There's the Boss suit outlet in Stuttgart, Germany. And over there, they sell Boss suits for $200-300. You know how much a Boss suit is worth? It's worth thousands. Kitzer, I said, okay, it sounds like a great idea. I went to Manhattan. I saw a store selling it for thousands of dollars. So I put up signs in Mendelssohn's Pizza. That's the one place I remember. I put up different places. Big Cheverman, sell the suit for $400. I'll make like $100 a suit. If I sell 10 suits, I'll 10 people were foolish enough to give me $400 in advance, and I took the money and I flew to Germany with this guy. We get to Stuttgart, and the factory's there, and I couldn't believe it. Hundreds of people in line waiting to get into the factory. What is going on there? The factory opens, people start running like babies, running. I have a list. I have to get my suits. I have a chassan, my good friend, Moshe Schwab, the whole thing. So I start looking, but the problem is it wasn't in English, it wasn't in American sizes, European sizes, and everybody gave me 38 and 42, and over here it's 99, and I don't know what it gets there, and there's a whole chart. Fine. I get my suits, and I like my final suit, I come back to my pile, it's gone. So I look around real quickly, I see a nice German, good midas, walking around with my pile. I said, it's my pile. He says, no, you put it down. I said, it's mine. Kids are all fight. Mamish is Gemara. And then he says, you know what, you could have it, but maybe you could sell it to me. I'll buy it, I'll give you another $100. I said, if there's no other suit in your size, no, I need a black suit. I'm performing tonight in a concert. I need a black suit. I said, I'm sorry. It's for a chassan, and I can't sell it to you. So this is sugya. What happened was, when I got back, the chassan puts on the suit, and the sleeves are up to here. And the suit is to the ground. It looked like a frock. What happened? He's a very slim guy. And I told the lady he needs like a 36, I don't know. She's 36. Now in Yiddish, in German, everything is the opposite. You say the small number and the large number. So instead of saying 48, which is 48, she said 84. You need 84. So I got him a size 84. So this guy got a frock for his chasana. So I said, forget it. Let's give it to somebody else to sell. He says, no, I need a boss. I only want a boss suit. So what are you going to do? He says, don't worry, I'm going to take it to the tailor. Kids, I come to this chasana. I couldn't believe my eyes. Motzei Shabbos. You know how suits have a pocket over here? His pocket was on the bottom of the suit. Right over here. Not joking. She left the pocket at the tailor. She just cut. But the pocket was over there. And he's flashing his suit. Look, boss, it says boss. The whole chassan, he's bossing. Okay, fine. Seifa b'mekach u'memkar. We're talking about two people that bought the same item. And the Gemara is going to tell us that they both paid for it. So it's not exactly like my story. I was kind of, I don't know what, b'ri'iyah and b'hagba. I put it in a pile. I didn't pay kesef yet. Halachically, maybe that guy could have taken it. But the Seifa is talking about a completely different story. Says the Gemara with tzricha. Sponsor. Rabbi said, I'm not going to cry now. So first of all, the first sponsor is by Kidnovations LLC and other. My Uncle Reb Elchanan Pressman is zechus for Akiva Simcha Ben Feiga. The second sponsor, listen to this. By Ner Tamid of Baltimore, Maryland. I'm choking up already. In honor of Fishel and Simcha Gross. Thanks to them, 137 people learned 16,166 dapim, over 700,000 minutes of Torah. And we're Messiah, Masechtas Bava Kama with MDY. One person, Fishel Gross. 727,000 minutes of Torah. Unbelievable. Says the Gemara, we need both cases, the Metzia and the Mekach u'Memka. Ditan Metzia v'amino Metziu the Ramu Rabbanon Shvua Alei. The Metzia person is Moira Heter. Moira Heter means to rationalize to yourself. Every averi we do is a rationalization. People steal. They only steal when they rationalize. They say, that guy is so wealthy, he doesn't care. What does he care? Or, I have something better to do than that guy. Let me do this. If you think Hashem really cares if I do this in this averi, they rationalize. And over here, there's a rationalization. And he says, he found it. Big deal. So I'm going to take it from him. He didn't lose anything. He almost came into money. Now he didn't come into money. So therefore I invoke a shvua. Oh, shvua, he's not going to want to lie. But when it comes to buying and selling, literally by the story with my suit, what am I going to do? I don't have a suit. Where are you going to find the suit? You have to go somewhere else. You have to start being matriach. So there is no time. Oh, what did he lose? He lost a lot. He has to go and work hard to find another suit. Go to another boss place. Maybe he shouldn't invoke a shvua. Oh, maybe no. If I don't see the case of buying and selling, so I would say only over there there's a shvua. Mishum the moir v'amar over there there's rationalization. There's a moir hat v'amar chavroin. We both paid for it. Listen, I really need it for my concert. Let me buy it. I'm going to take it. No, that guy caught it first. Let him go to another place. But he'll still get another suit. He's not going to lose out completely. But when you find a ring, you can't say, oh, let him go another place and find the ring. There is no other ring. It's one mitzvah, that's it. Maybe you don't invoke a shvua. You only invoke a shvua when a person rationalizes. He's not a bad guy. He's just rationalizing. Give him a little shvua, back off from his rationalization. But when a person is not rationalizing, he's a real bad person. He's doing something, you can't give him a shvua because he's going to lie. We don't want people to do shvua sheker. Tzricha. So I need both cases. Ask the Gemara a simple question. Typically speaking, a seller has an amonis. In Shas, in Halacha, one person is not believed. You need two people. But you could trust the seller. He has we gave him a special covet and what's the word? Nemanas. We gave him nemanas he's believed I sold him. And that's usually when he's holding on to the chayfetz. Over here, he's not even holding on to it. We still ask him, who gave you the money? Like tzricha, and here the Gemara proves the nokat mitar value. He took money from both, but he doesn't remember who gave it to him first, who gave it to him in will. First guy, one guy gave it to him willingly, and one guy put in his pocket without asking. And I don't know who did what. Now we're going to go through a few beautiful sugyas, including tomorrow. We touched upon some of them in Bava Kama, but it's great chazara, and if you're new to this, it's great. Say perhaps that the Mishnah is not like bananas. So I want to show you this real quickly. There was a great Rosh Hashiva, Reb Shraga Feivel Mendelovich, who's the Rosh Hashiva of Torah Das, and he says that when he came to America from Europe, he was Sibrachen, Pashat Sibrachen. Why? Because he learned this very Gemara with the Talmidim, the Americans, and when he read this Gemara, they all burst out laughing. And he realized that they thought he said bananas. Bananas. And he said, such a maratzim? such babies. I'm teaching babies here. Bananas. It made him tzibrach, and he realized he's in America. He's in America. Anyways, says the Gemara, man says like bananas. Mendy loved it. He was laughing his head off. You guys just don't get the joke. The bananas, Omar. Oh. So here's a concept in Shas called Cheveni al Pinchasi. Cheveni, the shopkeeper with his little notebook. Here's a picture of his notebook when he writes things down. Now we're talking about a shopkeeper and we're talking about a worker. And it goes like this. There's three people actually. There's an employer, there's the worker, and there's a shopkeeper. The employer tells his worker, instead of me giving you cash for all your work you did this week, go to the shop and buy up all your groceries. I'll take care of the bill. He goes to the shopkeeper, he says, by the way, when my worker comes, here in Eretz Yisrael, it's very, everybody's familiar with it. You have a bill, you go, your kids go. We used to have a bill for MDY, and all of a sudden, it was 40,000 shekel a month. We had no idea what's going on. Milk is only 1,000, whatever. You have these bills. So you tell the shopkeeper, you take care of Shlomi. Shlomi takes care of whatever. At the end of the month, the shopkeeper comes to the employer and says, okay, pay me up. Your worker came and spent 10,000 shekel here. So okay. The problem is the worker comes to the employer and says, you have to pay me for this month. He says, I thought you went to the shop. He says, no, I never made it to the shop. Went to the shop and the shop guy says, no. So now we have a problem here. One person is lying, either the worker or the shopkeeper. They both want money from the employer. So Tanakama says, the eitzah is both of them swear. The problem is, says bananas, you can't both swear because one of them is going to swear falsely. 100%, one of them is going to swear falsely. And to swear falsely is the worst thing in the world. People don't even swear when it's true. They'd rather pay the money than to swear when it's emes. Why would they swear when it's false? Why would we invoke a shvuah that's guaranteed to be a problem? We'll make a shvuah when you have a suffix, he might lie, and the shvuah will force him not to lie. Says the Gemara, di bananas, homar keitza deilu veilu boim l'dei shvuos. Our Mishnah cannot be bananas. And our Mishnah cannot be sumchos. And our Mishnah cannot be Reb Yosi. The Gemara keeps on going through all these Tanaim. Why? Because he says, somebody's going to be lying here. And Memela in our Mishnah, when both swear, one of them is swearing falsely. Afilu temen banana, says the Gemara, no. Over there by the shopkeeper and the worker, somebody's lying. Over here it's possible to say, here is a case that not everybody's lying. They're both saying the truth. Both of them lifted it up together. Okay? Says the Gemara, it's possible. Yeah, it's possible. Both grabbed it at the same millisecond. If Shalatzamtzim, okay, fine, different story. Maybe our mission is not like Sumchos. What? Yeah. How does it fit in with the Okay, let's go. We'll shmooze afterwards. Givaldik, it is good. Sumchos. Now check this out, Rabbi Isai. I'll show you this case, and then we'll understand. This is a classic case of Mammon Amutul B'Safik, meaning without anybody seeing the story. We don't have video. We don't have any eyewitnesses. Zero. Who over here owes money to? Check this out. There's a cow. Oops, sorry, went through it too fast. No. Yeah, there's a story in Bava Kama. Here's somebody's cow. Here's another individual's bull. One thing's for sure. The bull gored the cow. The issue is that there's a little baby dead on the side. And the question is, when exactly was the baby born? Right before the cow was gored? Or after? Was it caused by the bull? Or it was not caused by the bull at all? So that's a question that we'll never know the answer to. That's Mammon Amutul B'Safik. So what do you do when you can never figure it out? Nobody could swear. How could somebody swear? Oh, I swear, you can't swear. You don't know what happened. There's no question that you can't swear. So what do? He says, Mammon Amutul B'Safik Chalkin B'Lei Shvuah. You divide it evenly. The owner of the ox has to pay without a shvuah. So it can't be him. Because in our case, that they're both arguing, we don't know what the answer is. Let them divide it, but without a shvuah. Says Gemara Rabbanon, you can tell me, it goes according to Rabbanon. Hey mem, ayin hey. What does that mean? If Rabbanan say you need Eidim, so what if you need Eidim? So in our case, in our Mishnah, either it should be without a Shvuah, or just leave it there until a Navi comes. But according to Rabbanan, it's no better. We didn't gain anything. According to Rabbanan, you wouldn't do a Chalukah with a Shvuah, either without a Shvuah, or you just leave it until Mashiach comes. Says Gemara, no, it makes more sense to go according to Rabbanan. Hi, Mai. Amris b'shleim Rabbanan. It could go better. It makes more sense. It fits in with Rabbanan. Hasam delay tafsi tar value. When there's a bull and an ox, nobody grabbed anything. Nobody's holding on to anything. Just who? Not no one. Sorry. One is holding on. Who's holding on? The owner of the ox. He's holding on to his own money. You want to extract money from his pocket. You want him to pay 50% to the owner of the cow. But not both of them are holding on to it. Nevertheless, that's why Rabbanan say, you, the owner of the cow, prove it. But when both are holding on to it equally, so divide it down the middle with a shvuah swearing. Eloi Amris. So it makes more sense. It goes like, it fits nicely with Rabbanan. Mor says it doesn't fit so nicely with Sumchos. Eli Amris Sumchos. Hashto. If there's only one person holding on to his money by the owner of the ox, you divide it without swearing, without a shvuah. According to Sumchos, certainly you should divide it without swearing. Why does the Mishnah say you have to make a shvuah? Says the Gemara, our Mishnah could go according to Sumchos. In a case, where do you divide without a shvuah? When both are uncertain. The owner of the cow, the owner of the bull, they're uncertain. So you divide without it. When it comes to two people that are certain, it's mine, the whole thing is mine. Then you have to swear with a shvuah. As the Gemara, that you do chalukah without shvuah even when both are certain. How can our Mishnah say that you have to make a shvuah? He's saying that even Sumchos holds, even when you're certain you don't make a shvuah. Our Mishnah says you do make a shvuah. Scary word, but not so scary. Sumchos was talking about in a case where there's a loss, a monetary loss. What does the word drara mean? And that's such a great word in English, in Yeshivish or in Yiddish, in Hebrew. Shaychus. There's a shaychus. There's a shaychus of money. There's a loss of money. So by the animal dead on the side, somebody's losing money. Somebody's going to lose money here. By a find, you found something. You didn't lose anything. So okay, so you're going to go home now with the same amount of money you had a minute ago. You thought you made $1 million. You thought you found a $10,000 ring. So you didn't. It's not a loss of money. Mekach also, by buying. So I didn't get the suit, but I got my money back. There's no loss. No. So you wouldn't need a shvuah. According to Sumcha, it fits right into the Mishnah. You wouldn't need a shvuah. When there's a loss, there's no shvuah. But in our Mishnah, since there's no loss, there's no drawer in the Minah, no shvuah. You need a shvuah. Says Gemara, the opposite. In other words, one of them is going to lose money with this dead cow. Rashi says like another addition to the question. It's possible to say 100% this guy deserves his money, 100% this guy. Since we don't know what to do, you divide it without swearing. But over here, where it's possible that both of them lifted up this garment simultaneously, both of them own half, like you should divide it without swearing, without a shvuah. Says the Gemara, by the way, Rabbi Weiss, Motzei Shabbos, the shir is at 8:30, and in Hebrew at 9:45. Not to say that the shir in English is going to be an hour and 50 minutes, just to give the English people time to get out. Shvuah Zum D'Rabbanan, says the Gemara, you're right. We have a special shvuah here. Really, it should be without a shvuah at all. But we are concerned for something like this. Let me show you real quickly. This kind of thing. A guy goes over to a random person, starts schlepping his stuff. Hey, it's mine. Kula shali. we don't want people to start fighting with everybody. So you say, you know what? Shvuah time. According to this, it shouldn't be a shvuah. But in this case, because we don't want people to start grabbing things from other people, shelo yeh kol echad ve'echad hoylech v'toikev v'talisa shechaveiroi. Not everybody should go and grab the garment of his friend. Therefore, they invoke the special shvuah. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow night, Beis Hashem. Good Shabbos. Shira Malois, Mimama Kim Kusicha Adinoi.